3/5 of a cake for breakfast, and then another 3/8 for lunch. How much cake is left? Now, before we do anything, I'm just going to correct a little spelling mistake here, which you may or may not have spotted. It's eighths here. When we talk about the fraction eighths, it is the number 8, which is spelled like that, and then you've got this T on the end is turned into eighths, so that should be HS on the end. So as you can see, our spelling here is actually missed out this letter H here. So just be careful with the spelling of eighths. So let's have a look what we've got. So for breakfast, we've got we've got lunch, and we're trying to figure out what is left. So for breakfast, we are eating 3/5. For lunch, we are eating 3/8, and we have to figure out what is left. So the first thing we need to do is figure out what we've eaten so far. So we need to do 3/5 add 3/8. Now, we should have learnt in a previous year at school how to add fractions with different denominators. So we need to find a common denominator. So a common denominator for 5 and 8 is going to be 40. One way of doing it is just to multiply the two denominators together. That will always give you a common denominator. It won't always give you the lowest common denominator, but in this case, the lowest common denominator for 5 and 8 is indeed 40. 80 would also work. 120 would also work, but we're just going to go with 40 to keep it nice and low. So we need to figure out how we change 5 into 40 and how we change 8 into 40. So to change 5 into 40, that's times 8. So you're making the 5 8 times bigger. So you also need to make the 3 8 times bigger. 3 times 8 is 24. So that becomes 24/40ths is an equivalent fraction. As for the 3/8, you're making the 8 5 times bigger. So you need to make whatever you do to the bottom, you do to the top as well. So if you're making the 8 5 times bigger, you need to make the 3 5 times bigger. So 3 times 5 becomes 15. So what we're actually dealing with is 24/40ths added to 15/40ths. So we now need to add these together. Now we've got two equivalent fractions in 40ths. So 24/40ths add 15/40ths. It's obviously going to be in 40ths. So 24 add 15 is going to give you 39. So 39/40ths of the cake have been eaten, but it is saying what fraction is left. Well, if you've eaten 39/40ths, there's only going to be one. You've basically eaten 39 slices out of 40. There is only going to be one slice left. So how much is left? The answer is 1/40th. Final answer, 1/40th of the cake is left.